The UFC, always changing. Champions rise, fall, and new contenders emerge. Today, we're going to break down every single division to predict who will wear UFC gold next. Will dominant champs fall? Will they hold their ground? Or are we about to see a major shakeup in the division? Let's get into it. Okay, starting off with flyweights. Panto has been a dominant force at flyweight. I do see him defending his belt one more time, probably against Kaikar of France. But champions, especially dominant champions, they usually fall to unexpected contenders. This is where Manal Kape comes in. This wouldn't just be a title fight for him, it would be a rematch. Pantoja already holds a win over Kape from their first fight, but Kape's gotten better. And I do believe at this moment in time, his explosive striking, confidence, he's gotten better in all areas. I do think he could catch Pantoja at the wrong time and flip the script in their second meeting. I do believe he could be the champion, and that could set up a trilogy. Moving on to bantamweight. Bantamweight's one of the most stacked divisions in the UFC, but when it comes down to it, there's only one person who can stop Merab, and that person is Umar. These two, I know they already fought, people, they try to push the narrative that, oh my god, Merab dominated even though he lost the first 2 rounds, right? The fight was close, right? If Umar had actually come in with better cardio or simply managed his gas tank more effectively, I believe he would have won. Now with more experience and the right prep, I do believe that Umar has a real shot at taking Merab's title. His striking, his wrestling, his fight IQ, elite level, higher than Peter Yan, higher than Sean O'Malley, higher than anyone else in the bantamweight division. Umar has a real shot at taking Merab's title. He can actually match Merab's relentless pace, but his cardio just was not there for that fight. I do think he'll work on his cardio and get it, and he broke his arm very early on in that fight. That's why those factors actually they play into why I do believe, these two are the best in the division. Obviously, unless something crazy happens, I feel like it's inevitable that we will see them run it back for the title. And when they do, don't be surprised if Umar walks away with the title. Next up, the featherweight division. Currently we don't have a champion after Ilya vacated, but after 314 we will have a champion. Diego Lopez takes on Volk, and honestly I think it might be the perfect time for Lopez to just knock out Volk. Volk's a legend, probably the greatest featherweight of all time. Let's be honest, he took a lot of damage his last fight, back-to-back knockouts against Ilya and Islam. Fighters can only take so much before their chin starts to fade, and Lopez has a crazy power to him. He's aggressive, he's fearless, his striking is sharp, his jiu-jitsu is sharp. Somehow he beats this, he beats Volk. This isn't about just power, like I said, Volk's submission game is good, but I feel like Lopez is he's just different, if he tries to wrestle Lopez, I don't think he'll do anything. So in my opinion, 314 in a few weeks from now, I do think that, Lopez will beat Volk. Lightweight, the current champ Islam. Islam's the greatest lightweight of all time. I think anyone knows that. And I do believe he has one more title defense left in him, probably against Charles or Gaethje. But after that, his time's up. He's moving on to the welterweight division. I think he vacates, and that's where the booking of Ilya versus Arman comes in. I do see Ilya making the jump comfortably, immediately up there, probably knocks someone out and then gets to fight Arman for the title. His striking, his confidence, his elite fight IQ, his wrestling, his jiu-jitsu, I do believe he's elite, and the fight to make is Ilya Arman. I don't think it's an easy fight for Arman, to be honest, or Ilya. I think that's a 50-50 fight that Ilya just comes out on top. Arman's a tough matchup for anyone, his relentless wrestling, his pressure, his power. But I just think for some reason that Ilya comes out on top. I don't know, that one's a very 50-50 fight for me. Now moving on to the welterweight division. The current champ Bilal. After years of grinding his way to the top, finally, Leon gave him a chance and he took it. He wanted to fight at the end of the year, but he got injured, and now he's fighting at 315 against JDM. I do believe he's gonna beat JDM, and then that's when the real challenge comes in. Shafkat is undefeated. One of his fights did go the distance against Ian Gary, and lackluster performance. He was injured, and what makes him special is obviously just finishing everyone except for that fight. Beautiful striking, technical, powerful, grappling is elite, and obviously just just finishes every single fight except for that. So when these two eventually meet, I do see Shafkat breaking Bilal down over time. I don't know why I see that happening. His fight ending ability is just something else, and somehow, some way, whether by decision, whether by finish, I do see Shafkat taking the belt. And now for middleweight, the current champ DDP, he submitted Izzy, fought Strickland twice and outclassed in both fights. The first fight was not close. I don't care what anyone says. The next fight he has is probably against Hamzat, unless some crazy shit happens. Hamzat's a world-class fighter, and I do believe that's the end of DDP. I do believe he will just wrestle the hell out of him. And if they do actually meet for the title, I think it's going to be a crazy fight. I think it's going to be a very, very high-paced fight. But I think the thing that will do it is Hamzat's ability to control the fight and shut down DDP's striking. He probably finishes him, probably second or third round, I say. That's my prediction. Moving on to the light heavyweight division, the current champ, obviously recently crowned Ankalaev. Easy win over Pereira. I don't know who he fights next, or probably Pereira for the rematch. I don't think Pereira does anything different. I think the person, I don't know why I have a feeling Yuri comes back as champ. His striking is just weird. He's down to just strike. He's down to go forward. I don't believe it happening. I don't believe, because that's how bad the division is. I don't see anyone beating Ankalaev, but I do see Yuri just somehow knocking him out. I think I'll give him the highest chance, because there's no real up-and-comers in the division. There's no one that's really, I believe, could be future champ, except for maybe Yuri. By some fluke way, he becomes champ. That's my prediction. Okay, for the heavyweight division, the obvious choice, obviously, Tom Aspinall. I have a feeling that the fight against John Jones is going to happen. I don't know, just the way Dana's been talking recently about it. Oh, we're going to get this fight done. We're going to get this fight done. I'm very hopeful. I am very hopeful. Obviously, that's a cheap out answer. That's just, okay, Tom Aspinall, already the interim champ. Whoever he fights next, probably knocking out. Probably, if it's not John Jones, probably Jalton Almeida, probably Cyril Gane, someone like that. And same thing, I do think that just Tom Aspinall's striking, his wrestling, his high fight IQ. One thing that concerns me about him is heavyweight division, heavy hitters, and his chin is just up in the air all the time. So that's it. I think, that's obviously the cop-out answer, okay?